Right, today's going to be a very interesting video. We've got the M240i behind me, and we've also got the M235i today, and we're doing some stuff with MHD, so let's get into it. Here is the M240 in all its glory, and yes, we are doing some work on it. However, that's not today's video. Today's video, MHD, is coming into play. Now, a lot of you will know that my car is mapped with MHD, so that's what we're going to be taking into play today, of having some fun with the M240. However, what do you guys think to the no spoiler? I kind of like the look of it. Here is what an F22 looks like with a spoiler. However, I do love the look of this. It just looks really clean from this angle. Anyway, MHD, I've got the adapter so I can use this on both cars. The license for the 235 has been bought, as well as the 240. Now let me just talk you through very quickly what's been done on this B58 behind me. The car is currently mapped. However, the catch with the map that's on it, it's a very good map, it's a very fast map, the car is really quick. However, there's a lot of pops and bangs in sport mode. And as you know from my exhaust system on my M235i, I don't like the pops and bangs. And of course, they're exceptionally loud on this car as well. Don't get me wrong, I do like them, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I want to be able to drive this car in sport mode without the pops and bangs absolutely ruining my ears. So that means the map that is on the B58 behind me is going to be erased, and we're going to be doing a fresh Stage 2 one with MHD, and I'll talk you through it in this video. Before we do anything though, we've got to connect the battery charger. Now, the first map that you ever write with MHD is going to take about 5 minutes. So we're going to connect the battery charger to make sure that we don't fry the ECU. The long write map has already been done on this car. So when I flash this car when I'm out and about, it doesn't really matter because it takes about 20 seconds. So I'm not afraid about doing it when I'm driving, or if I've driven the car for an hour, I feel confident in mapping it. However, this one, it hasn't been flashed in a very long time, and it's been stood for quite a while, so we're going to connect the battery charger. I'll be back once that's done. You've got a little ground plug here which you can plug in, and then you've also got your positive terminal there. This is where the fun part begins. Let's plug the MHD adapter in here. We can put the key just over there, and then if we turn the ignition on, we can connect the MHD adapter with your mobile phone. So let's plug this into the extension leads, and we're going to make sure this is on. Now that that's all ready and all safe, we'll be able to jump into the car. And I have already connected to the live data version of MHD to read the battery voltage. It was 11.9 with nothing connected, and it goes up to 12.5 with the battery charger. So we know we've got a stable battery voltage to be able to flash the car now. I'm going to screen record. I'll meet you guys in MHD. Right, first thing to do is going to make sure the lights are off, as well as all of the ventilation system. And now the ignition is on. We can go onto my phone and we can go into the MHD app. And now what we're going to do is go straight to the main screen, flash a MHD map. It should connect to the DME, and just like that, we are now on the main screen. I'm trying to get position so you guys will be able to see the screen without any reflection. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to select manual transmission because this car does benefit from the 6-speed manual, and we're just going to skip all of this stuff basically because we want to go straight down to the multi-maps and Stage 2. So I've selected these for the kind of medium octane rating. The reason I've selected this is because I don't want to have any timing corrections with the wrong fuel. So in the UK we get 99 octane, so I'm running the 93 octane map, which will provide loads of leeway for any timing corrections, and there shouldn't be any because we put the premium fuel in. On the bottom map, I am selecting the lowest rating we can choose, and this is because if we're at a UK fuel station where they don't have the premium fuel, we don't have to flash the car back. We can just select it on the steering wheel and go to that map which has the correct fuel for what we're putting in the car. And that obviously is quite an important stage because you don't want to be running a tune which you don't have the correct fuel for. However, we're still going to stick with Stage 2. Now, this is where the fun begins, because we can actually go into the exhaust burble setting and do a load more customizations. We are going to put anti-lag on because we do want to experiment that, and we do want to allow the map switch. We're not going to play around with no lift shift. That's not really something I want to go into in today's video. There'll be more videos on that. Aftermarket downpipes, we have got them on the car, so we will select them. Remove the top speed limiter and increase the iDrive values. Now, the overrun brap does make a completely different sound to the M235i, which is down there. This is something to bear in mind. We're going to keep this on OEM for now because I think the OEM version sounds quite nice. The exhaust burbles, now we are going to keep these on, but we're not going to have them at anything stupid, so I'm thinking we're just going to keep them on for about a second on this map, and OEM style because we don't want them too loud. The minimum RPM, we want that set to 0. Maximum, that's pretty much fine. Minimum speed, we don't want it to come on at any minimum speed, and they can go off at 155 miles an hour. Not that we'll be doing that on the UK roads. Cold start noise reduction, definitely want that on. Startup raw, not too fussed about that. Rev match, This is pretty interesting. This car comes featured with the rev match ability, which my M55 doesn't. So we are going to be turning that on. It's already got it coded in. However, it doesn't have it coded in if DCT is fully off. So if you have traction control fully off, it won't rev match for you, which is a bit annoying. So we're going to turn it on in this MHD setting here. High pressure fuel pump installed. We're just on the OEM one, as well as injectors. Sport cooling mode for intercooler. I'm not too sure what that does, so if you guys know what that is, then let me know in the comments. I'm just going to leave that checked because that's what it already came with. Now, map 2, we are going to keep this on the hard burbles. We're going to kind of set this up of how my N55 is set up. So we'll put this on 0.2 seconds and hard. Map 3, we don't want any burbles, as well as map 4, we don't want any burbles on that either. So now that we're pretty much set up with that, we're going to go for it and bite the bullet. And this is always the scariest part when you're flashing the first map on these cars. I didn't actually flash the M235i with a battery charger for the first time, and I was actually in a random car park, and it took like 5 minutes. It was a bit scary. However, we've got all the safety precautions on this car, so let's go ahead and do it. Map right. Here we go. There is no going back now. Oh, and this is always scary when it just throws all these random codes, and I literally can't do anything. So what I'm going to do now is leave the phone there. And now you just got to let it do its thing. It's going to erase different sections of the current ECU map. So what it's going to be doing now, it's going to be erasing the map that was on there, and it's just going to be installing the MHD software onto the ECU. And when this is installed, it makes future maps really easy and quick. So like, for instance, when I map the M235i, it takes about 20 seconds. We'll let this do its thing. Battery charger is still connected. Everything is all good here. It's making some really weird noises. I don't know why that's clicking. Anyway, on a side note, let me know what you think to the no spoiler on the M235i. Do we like it? It looks really fresh and quite clean. However, the full car's got a kind of body kit. It's got the diffuser, the side skirts. I don't know. It's kind of growing on me. I do kind of like it. And if you are new to the channel, there's loads more content coming on both cars. We're going to be doing dyno tests on the 240 versus the 235. We've got the same chassis car, but with two completely different engines. So far, the N55 is kind of winning me over still, but that car over there, and I'm very interested to see what it's like with this Stage 2 tune. It's going to be pretty unreal. However, if you aren't yet already subscribed and you want to see loads more content on both cars, hit the subscribe button. It's free if you want to do it. It'll support me and help the channel out, so thank you very much. That's still ticking, so let's see how this is getting on. Oh, that's not good. In all my time of flashing cars with MHD, I have never come across unable to erase memory. That is really strange. If we do go under the setting where you can unlock check, it does say this car is completely fine to unlock. It says there's not any lock on the ECU at all, and it's completely fine to flash. Here you can see we are connected. No unlock needed. You can directly flash the car with MHD. Right, give me a little bit of time. I'm going to try and work this out because it's pretty weird why it can't erase the old map. So, not too sure why that is. I'm going to get back to you guys in a little bit. What I'm currently doing is flashing the car back to stock. I'm going to see if this works because currently there's no communication to the DME at all, which is a little bit worrying. So I'm trying to flash the car back to stock. Tried erasing the codes. It won't communicate to the ECU at all, which is very strange. So currently we've got 3 minutes left and it's going well so far. So I'm hoping if we can flash the car back to stock, remove MHD, and then we'll try again. Now, it wasn't like the car had a dodgy map on before. The car has had a lot of money spent on it. It's got an Eventuri intake, an Eventuri downpipe, and the map was actually done by Eventuri. However, when the previous owner went to Eventuri to have this car mapped, they mapped, when the Eventuri asked them what they want, they obviously said, yes, sport, I want it to have the burbles and like pops and bangs. However, I can't see why that would have any effect of why I couldn't erase and flash MHD. My M235i in the garage had a kind of McDonald's map on, you could call it, before, and it erased it fine, so I'm not too sure about this. We do have 10 seconds left. It says 100%, but I guarantee it's just going to say failed again, but we'll see. Car's making a lot of noises. It says it's coding the DME. All the lights on, obviously. 100% coding success. Clearing codes. Right. So that worked. Okay, the car's now shut down. It says to wait about 30 seconds, so I'm going to do that. And then we'll try to flash MHD again. So if that doesn't work, then I'm not too sure what we're going to do. I'm trying to now do the main map again with the multi-maps. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try just flashing maybe stage 1 instead of the multi-map section. However, it seems to be getting further than it did before. It's doing all the same things on the dash. And, you know, with my M235i, I've done 95 maps on that car. I've flashed it 95 times, so it's not like I don't know how to use MHD. I've made plenty of videos on the channel advising you guys on steps to take, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I know I'm not a professional tuner, but yeah, it's just a bit weird why it can't erase the section. It's erasing section 3 fine, but 2 and 1 it seems to have an issue with. Tiny bit of backstory on the car. The car was built in 2016 and the actual mapping was all done middle, I'd say summer 2017. So it's had the downpipe on the intake and this map for a good, like, what, 7 years now? So it's not like anything is kind of new. It's had the map on here for a long time. However, we are 36% done, 2 minutes left. We're getting further than we were before. 80%, 1 minute left. We're getting a lot further than we did before, so I'll be with you guys once this is done. 100%, it's gonna restart. Come on, come on, come on. Just say successful. Just literally just say successful. Yes, we got it. Wait 30 seconds, it flashed fine. Oh man, I was literally gonna say we've just wasted like $500, £500 on this mapping system, and it's just gonna be thrown down the drain because we can't map it. But it's worked. Let's get it started up. Right, first thing I'm gonna do is disconnect this battery charger because we don't need that anymore, but it did come in as a lifesaver. Right now for the big moment, is this gonna start? Let's unplug the MHD adapter, which we disconnected from. We can put this to a side. Let's give it a try. Ignition on. Right, neutral. The fuel pump just primed. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Literally first time, no issues at all. We've got a fault on the dash, but I think that might literally just be down to the fact that the doors are open and we've got lights on and everything like that. Yeah, bonnet open, door open. Now let's see if our multi-maps work. We hold the limit button. 1, 2, 3, 4. It all works as it should. Oh guys, this is so good. Right, I'm gonna let the car warm up to operating temperature and then we'll have a little bit of a play with it. Right, both cars are running successfully and both are MHD tuned. So as soon as they're up to operating temperature, I mean, you can't really hear me, that thing's loud. And so is this thing. As soon as we've got some heat in those engines and the oil temperature up, we're gonna have some revs. We have both cars still warming up. The N55 takes a bit longer than the B58. I don't know why, they're both idling exactly the same, but it does take longer. The oil temp in this one, we're looking at 48 degrees Celsius on that there, as well as the water temp, which isn't as important as the oil temperature. We'll give it a few tiny little revs. And now let's go compare this to the so-called mighty B58. Okay, it's safe to say they're both really loud. Oh, I think it's been sick. It's literally thrown up. What the hell? Right, we're now in the 240, and the part we did fix, now that it's all on the ground, was the steering rack bush. Very common issue on these M-Light shapes, especially the F22s and as well as the 1 Series shapes. If you want to see the video on fixing that, it's on my channel. However, the car is mapped. We're on the multi-maps with no burbles. Here's the upgraded iDrive. Now, on the map that we had on before this, it went up to 450 horsepower. So, we'll see what it has today. But very excited to not hear any pop and bangs and just the natural exhaust tone. And we're doing all this while the 2 Series, well, the 235 is just sitting in the garage all alone. This does sound incredible though. What is there? Oh, the wraps there. You gotta get it on the boost. That sounds unreal. Wow. You can hear the intake though really well. Now it's time for a couple revs. Just burning my leg. Do that again. I don't think we're going to bother revving this. I mean, you've all heard what it sounds like. I put a clip on screen of a flyby. However, I think that can just stay in the garage because, I mean, that sounds incredible. Don't get me wrong. This just sounds like it wants to kill somebody, though. What an absolute incredible car. The map on this now is 10 times faster. Okay, I mean, 10 times might have been an exaggeration, but what I mean by that is the map before went to like 450-ish. I know the gauge on the iDrive isn't right, which is why I want to see these cars dynoed and 100% get a printout. So if you guys are interested in that, leave a comment. But it did go to 470 on the iDrive, which I know isn't accurate, but it went higher than the previous one. And it felt like it just, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say what speeds were done because the UK roads, we obviously got to 60, but the speed we got to 60 was quick. I mean, this shows the same gauges that my M235i shows. However, the M235i with the N55 tops out at about 425, 430 on the iDrive. This got to like 470. So what these cars will do on the dyno, I will never know. And dyno day, I'm going to bring earmuffs because back then, for one, I burnt my leg, and two, my ears are ringing. And as always, after a long drive, I always just let the car measure the oil in these engines. What this does is basically just pushes fresh, well, I guess you could say fresh oil through the turbo, but basically if you turn it off with the turbo really hot, the oil can crystallize, it can cause blockages, it's just not good for the turbo. If you just let the whole system cool down for 2 minutes after a long, hard drive, they'll thank you for it. I mean, I know that B58's bulletproof and all, but I don't want to take no risks. M240i though, this is one serious car. Need to get the tracking done because it's all over the place at the moment, but the steering bush is fixed, the exhaust sounds naughty. Those tips definitely need to clean. And the oil is maximum, which means I feel more than confident turning that off now. It's been idling for about 4 minutes. This thing is incredible. There we have it though, guys. I think I'm going to call it a wrap on today's video. There's going to be a lot more footage on this car. And we're not forgetting the M235i. It's still going to be here. If you guys want to see any more videos like this, you can watch the full YouTube channel down below. And if you did enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to see more content like this. If you have any questions or anything you want me to do to these cars, then let me know and I'll answer them. Apart from that, really appreciate you guys watching today's video. I'll catch you in the next one.